Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa naskuraka kaseera innaka kunta bina basira wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we will continue from the words. We're studying the 22nd word, second station, page 316 in the book. And this was the confirmation of divine unity section, and there were multiple points and flashes the author has been sharing. So we were in the middle of the 12th flash, which is about the Quran, the revelation, the word of God, and how that also constitutes such a strong conviction once we start investigating what that message, those words are actually saying and what they mean. So we discussed how we discussed this last time, message of the Quran is La ilaha illallah, that there is no deity but God. So nothing in this universe or anything created has any quality to give existence to anything, but there must be an agent which has all those qualities, which we call Allah or God. That's how the understanding of God is. So whenever we look at anything in the world, whatever we interact with, it says La ilaha illallah. That thing cannot exist. So there is no God but God, but has been made by whoever gives existence to it. And then we started looking into the Quran with the eyes of a sound heart. So we said without any bias, just as a human being, looking into what the Quran represents, how do we benefit from it, what is it saying without having any negative mindset in terms of, or to discredit the message of that it's saying, but openly and with an open mind and heart, listening to it, seeing what it says. So I will just briefly go over it, and I know we discussed until the middle of it, and we can just review a little bit, because I know Brother Ali said this is a very precious piece. Of course, I noticed it is also very dense. Each phrase is very meaningful that we can go over. So it says, if you look at the Quran with the eyes of a sound heart, you will see that its 6 aspects are so brilliant and transparent that no darkness, no misguidance, no doubt or suspicion, no trickery could enter it or find a fissure through which to enter and violate its purity. So it kinds of opens up a challenge to human beings and see, why don't you see, because it's so clear and transparent in its message. And there is no something, it's not misleading to you, no misguidance, no doubt or suspicion. Once you start looking at it from all its different aspects, all its different sides, no trickery, nothing missing that would violate its purity. So for above the Quran, is the stamp of miraculousness. So we discussed somewhat this phrase above it, meaning on the surface of the Quran, and we said that can be understood as pointing to how the language of the Quran is, the language structure, which is in Arabic, but it perfected the Arabic language, and it is in a very miraculous fashion or way of how the language is structured as we look at the surface of the Quran. Beneath the Quran, proof and evidence. So it stands on a solid proof and evidence. So it's not just making any claims. So there is supporting proof and evidence that goes along with the message that it brings. Something we can experience, feel, see, hear. Of course, if you would like to share more thoughts, please, you are free to jump in anytime. I'm just trying to summarize a little bit what I took away last time. And behind the Quran, so its point of support, pure dominical revelation. So we kind of discussed a little bit what pure dominical is, Arabic, Rabbani. So we gave the example of whoever created this universe must speak because he knows the ins and outs of whatever he's created. So there must be a manual that must tell it, whoever is using it, how to function, what to do, and it should know it inside and out. So its point of support is a solid speech from the one who knows everything, whatever he's creating. He knows it inside and out, how it's connected, how the harmony is set up, how the order is set up, what its stages would be, with all the knowledge, and everything is in there. Before the Quran, happiness of this world and the next. So it gives good news of that you're not here forever. That's true. So there is an eternal life which you are looking for in your feelings. You're asking for it. So definitely the good news is there that you will, if you are righteous, you will be getting it. If you acknowledge me, you acknowledge the Lord of the universe, yes, that good news definitely should be there. Happiness of this world and the next. So gives examples from this world and then points out, yes, if you acknowledge this, then this is how your feelings, how you experience it, whatever you're learning, definitely there will be a next. On its right, questioning the reason and ensuring its confirmation. So questioning the reason and ensuring its confirmation. So there's an invitation by the words of God or the speech of God to start reasoning. Listen, why don't you see, does it logically make sense? So see, is it like a don't imitate the Quran? Is it kind of a little challenge there? Reason it. That's a quality given to human beings, and then ensuring its confirmations, make sure it makes sense. Don't just take it blindly. And of course, use your given human qualities, use your sound heart, like no biases, without any bias or looking for any faults, but see what the message actually says. And we discussed also last time about how this is very missing in how the scripture is presented. Nowadays, there's no use of reason, just accept it how it is and be satisfied with it. There's no concept of confirming whatever you are getting from the scripture. So these two elements are very, very important in terms of the method that this author shares with us. On the Quran's left, calling on the conscience to witness and securing its submission. So the human conscience, not just human conscience, confirms whatever it's witnessing. Conscience to witness. So to basically guaranteeing the submission of conscience. Within the Quran is self-evidently the pure guidance of the most merciful. So whatever the message, the meaning in the Quran is nothing but guidance of the one who made the universe, the one who made me, the most merciful one. So within it. So the Quran's outside observedly consists of the lights of belief. Yeah, I think we stopped here last time. All right, so let's see. Let's work on this together, inshallah. So the outside of the Quran, what does that mean, outside of the Quran? So one is, okay, self-evidently what is within the Quran, and then what's the purpose of the Quran, I would think outside observedly consists of the lights of belief. So overall, what the guidance is to come to some realization, which is the lights of belief. So all these examples, whatever is mentioned, although it may look like a story, it's not really talking about the people in the story, but it's talking to me and talking to my feelings. How do I find myself in that situation? Not exactly the physical situation that the story mentions, but through my feelings, how do I feel? I have to interpret it. So I have to find myself exactly in those shoes of what the story, so-called stories, I'm finding myself in. So they have a light of belief in them. Otherwise, it's just gossiping about someone.
I really liked your understanding of outside as if nothing to do with the Quran. No, outside means overall covering all the previous aspects, which was 6 aspects of the Quran. Overall covering of the quality altogether is the consists of the light of belief. Now, belief, light of belief, what does it mean? The light of belief. because we may think, but I'm sorry, I interrupted you because I cannot raise my hand. Or I may, just a minute. Okay, I can, but I didn't know. So I thought I was the host. But I'm sorry for this interruption.
No worries, go ahead.
Covering overall purposes, all together, the purpose is lights of belief. We are in a materialistic world mostly because fundamentally our education is based on materialist understanding of existence, and the society, the civilization, prevalent civilization has materialist attitude. So as a result, we are in the ocean of materialist world. Okay, but in fact, human beings live in a how do you say, belief in ghaib. What does it mean? Although we are leading materialist life, but our life is really swimming in the materialist world, but human reality acts according to belief. What does it mean, belief? First of all, belief is not knowledge. We keep remembering this. Belief is not knowledge. Knowing something is not belief. Belief means we don't know, but our human capacity, reasoning, feelings, indicates to the existence of something else than material things. How come? Yes, even I don't believe in God, even I don't believe in the hereafter. If I do something, always I do it in expectation of some sort of hopes, wishes that I am having, and they are not real. What do I mean by? They are not materially there. For example, I am eating, hoping that I will enjoy my life. But before eating, there is no enjoyment. After eating, it goes. It means enjoyment is not materialistic. I am buying something in order to love it or like it so that I will be satisfied with it. Liking, loving, and also not materially, but from my feelings, expecting to be satisfied, satisfaction, expecting for satisfaction, these are not materials. It means our mind may be focused on materialist means or material means, but our feelings always live in spiritual side of it, non-material side of it. This contradiction that the human beings are suffering from nowadays, including myself, we are suffering from this. We claim that we don't believe in the Creator. We claim that we don't believe in the hereafter. We claim that these are just ghaib things. Ghaib means belief matters. I believe if I have this, I will be happy. This is belief. But the thing is matter. I am also as a body matter, but my relationship with the object that I want to have it, I want to obtain it, is based on belief, which is non-material human side. We live with non-material human side, but I keep, through my choice, free will, I keep saying this. My interpretation is this object that I am aiming at get will be the source of something non-material, satisfaction, pleasure, happiness, non-material. But the non-material things are attached to material things. That's why, although we may think that all these matters related to belief may be deriving from material things, that is what makes me materialist. But this understanding never makes me live in this material world with no belief in ghaib. It means non-material things that exist. As I mentioned, pleasure, hope, satisfaction, all sorts of love, hate, grudge, anxiety, caprices. These are all non-material things. We have to understand that these non-material things, I think you all know this, but just to complete the subject that I am thinking about, why not to expect our non-material side satisfaction from the non-material being who has created the matter to be just a means, not to be a source of satisfaction, means of satisfaction. But the satisfaction, for example, the pleasure is coming or will come from God or is coming from God. And God is the subject of my belief, rather than my belief may become distorted to be the subject of matter, or the sentences was wrong. The matter may be misconceived to be the subject of my belief matters, expectations, hopes. That is why belief in God and under the Creator and understanding that everything is employed by Him is a way of living a consistent life as far as a human being is concerned. It means consistent within myself. If I say this object that I am trying to get, and therefore I will have pleasure from having this, is not the source. It is just a means. If I make this transfer, I will have no problem, because I won't run after the objects only, but I will direct my feelings to the source of existence of those objects that He created, those objects as a means to reach out to Him. I hope something in my mind I could cross it to you. I don't know whether I could explain it or not, but let's talk about it all together. What do you think? Human contradiction. Is it really true?
I would say so true. For example, a delicious food that one may eat, I may eat, I would think that is the food itself. That's delicious. And I'm enjoying that deliciousness from the food. So most of the time, we live like in oblivion, never thinking, yes, the taste, everything is arranged and given. Food has no quality to be delicious by itself. I mean, it's a practical thing, very livable, but one has to really be conscious and aware with everything on how everything has to be seen as the means to the owner, not like the things don't have anything as to be the source of all those non-material things you said, like what was it, the examples you used, but I can say, for example, the enjoyment, the pleasure that I get is not from the material thing at all. So I would, if anybody else wants to add, go ahead, please. I would love to hear more comments on this. So there is a comment from Fariha. Can we try again, please? The point about material versus non-material. That is, the feelings are non-material but displayed on material. All right, Suhail, you have the go.
Assalamu alaikum. It's like interesting, this discussion, because scientists nowadays are trying to, because don't want to submit to the obvious reality that the material world, like in no way, shape, or form gives rise to, let's say, consciousness, and what that consciousness involves, like intellect or thoughts, feelings, as Ali Memra was saying, because the world is essentially drunk on materialism, that now they try to find consciousness sort of within the material world. They call it, because they can't find it, they call it they either say it's an emergent property of the material world, or it's an epiphenomenon, like it sits on top of the material world. But it's a complete contradiction, because if it were obviously material, it should be able to be shown or demonstrated. Like I could go to a lab and see it. But like nobody explains this relationship. Like, for example, let's say, just like, let's say, eating, simply that, experiencing the taste of food, as you mentioned. Like, where does one find this quality of taste within food itself, or the desire for good tasting food? It's neither in the food nor in the material world. And as Ali Memra was saying, that if it were material, why does it escape me? Like, why is it so transient? Why is it instantaneously gone? If it's a material thing, it should be already with me. Why does it sort of disappear so quickly? And for that matter, I guess, why do I need let's say, some sort of object to experience that pleasure? Let's say a piece of fruit, an apple. If it's all just material, why does, because the apple is just, at the end of the day, it's just matter, it's just particles, the same particles that I'm consistent of. Why don't I experience that within myself? Because there's nothing inherent to matter, nothing inherent to that piece of fruit or to myself to necessitate that I experience anything or feel anything or think anything. So I guess that's the contradiction, is how do I, and this is like what I said, scientists are trying to explain that contradiction. They call this, in physics, they call it now the hard problem of consciousness. It's fascinating because it's an insolvable problem within science now. No one can solve it. It's like you reach the point where, try to explain material things, but now you're trying to explain consciousness and no one can solve it materially, because there is no answer for it materially. That's why they call it the hard problem. In some sense, like when they say hard problem, they still think it's a material problem, like hard being like it's physical material. So I'm going to employ experiments to try to find it in the lab, and still not able to. And, these are people who are supposed to be geniuses, the smartest people in the world working on this. So, but yeah, it's interesting, that contradiction. It's only in that contradiction that I can find that light of belief. because otherwise it wouldn't, I would think the material world was responsible for things. I wouldn't be saying, or I wouldn't, I guess, hear the thing saying that there is no God but God. So that, is the obvious truth, or the, it's so self-evident and pure guidance, as he said. But so those are just my thoughts. And it's only, the last thing I'll say is, that's the only way to achieve certainty, absolute certainty. As he says, knowledge of certainty, vision of certainty. I guess maybe he's referring to absolute certainty as haqq al-yaqeen, and then knowledge of certainty, ayn al-yaqeen, and vision of certainty, ayn al-yaqeen. So the only way, I guess, to achieve certainty in all aspects of my sort of humanity, whether it's at the level of knowing intellectually, and then level of seeing, or I guess like feeling or experiencing, and therefore absolute certainty, where it becomes my truth. That's what I'm certain of. That's why it's my truth. That's why I'm absolutely certain, is only through that contradiction. I mean, even there is no God but God sort of speaks to that contradiction, because I have to find that contradiction in the world. I know, and I can see. I have this knowing and seeing that there must be a God, or a sustainer, or a creator, or a maker, or an originator, or a manufacturer. I see it, but I don't find it here. That's the contradiction. Illa, or as he says, illa Allah, illahu. So except, a one. So even that statement is a sort of acknowledgement of that contradiction.
All right, thank you, Sohail. So one thing, let's clarify what the contradiction is first, so we can understand it. The contradiction, basically the non-material, as Faria is saying, the qualities that we see, for example, consciousness, the enjoyment, is not in the material itself. It's not coming from the material, basically. That's the contradiction, what I took away. But Brother Ali, go ahead.
We're doing well. Feria answered her own question, so it is beautiful. So we live with non-material experiences. Exactly. And we all are aware of that. I think everybody is aware, but they may not acknowledge it. Human free will. We should never ever forget human free will. They may not acknowledge it, accept it. They may deny it, because denial is telling a lie, lying to himself, to herself. As the Quran equates denial with lying. So we may lie to ourselves, but it is the contradiction that takes me to a journey of the existence of a source of existence. Yes, exactly. The answer is there. The question was, contradiction will always be there. She answered herself now perfectly. Yes, contradiction is not really existential contradiction. My conceptual contradiction. I may perceive that these non-material things that I am always after. I buy something, but I don't buy the thing in order to fill up my house. No, in order to get some satisfaction. I am after always non-material target to reach there. My aim is to reach there. Non-material target, which is satisfaction, pleasure. But I have to have it, yes. I have to have this one. But my interpretation, whether this satisfaction is coming from the matter itself, or as she said it before, feelings that is the feelings are non-material but displayed on material. They are the displaying place, to exhibition hall, not really the source of it. That is what Ferha explained it perfectly, but I'm just trying to elaborate it and have it resonate with myself. This is very simple. Whether the pleasure, the source of existence of pleasure, is the material side of the thing on which this pleasure is manifested, or not on which actually the pleasure. Whether this, whatever I expect, for example, taste in the creation of a material food. Now, the source of existence of taste, whether it is coming, it is created and produced by the material body of the fruit or food, or by the one who displayed this taste on the fruit. That's what I understood from Feriha, and it makes sense. I have to have the right attitude saying that, or acknowledging that, as Suhail emphasized on the importance of consciousness. My consciousness definitely recognizes that matter cannot be the source of the pleasure that I am getting. Now, for example, my body cannot be the source of my consciousness. If we accept this, we are on the right track, and we can benefit from the Quran and see that Quran is emphasizing on the importance of this approach, always saying, know you are, accept your reality. Do not deny the reality that your own self acknowledges it. You are aware of it. Your consciousness is aware of it. Use your free will in such a way that you should not live in contradiction. Why? Because I'm expecting a non-material result from a material thing as to be the creator of the non-material result. I mean, that's a beautiful display. Display is, I really love this expression. The non-material qualities are displayed on material objects. And I am always looking for non-material side of the creation, so I have to communicate with the non-material side and never attribute it to the displaying matter as to be the source of existence. When I do this transformation, what happens now? For my feelings which desire for eternal satisfaction, or the source of existence of the beauty, taste, example, manifested on material beings, must be a non-material, and the creator of everything that needs, but we shouldn't go into the discussion. This, whoever created the universe has created, let's say, a fruit with the pleasure in it. Pleasure cannot be the creation of matter at all, because they have completely different existential levels, existential realities. Has nothing to do with it, with each other. is to be the source of, but this is the displaying. So when I understand what the Quran is saying, ultimately, hey, I am going to present you the lights of belief there. That is what the ultimate aim of the Quran is. Lights of belief. It explains it, displays it clearly to me so that I will understand not to live in a contradictory world. So be consistent within myself and with the relationship between me and the universe, what is existing out there. Sorry, just I'm refreshing my mind and so establishing in my feelings that this attitude must be the pillar of my life. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, it was very refreshing. I loved it. Any other comment by anyone or any thoughts?
So although the non-material aspect of things are displayed on the material side, I'm not expecting the non-material satisfaction from the material side. I understand this, but the whole satisfaction, how do I attain that satisfaction, knowing that the material is just a placeholder? So how do I go on? I was just wondering about that, because you were mentioning something about, like, yes, we live basically in this non-material aspect of things, but we're not aware of it. But then maybe just questioning what is the source of existence of this non-material aspect of things, like the feelings that I'm experiencing, and then that should connect me to a source of existence, and that's what I need to expect satisfaction from. Because you mentioned something just lately, like when you spoke, brotherly, you said something about not expecting the material side to give me the non-material satisfaction. Yes. So then this leads to the question, okay, who then do I seek expectation from? I know, I'm aware that there's definitely what do you say? We keep using the non-material aspect of things, like there's something going on here, but then, yeah, how do I make? I think maybe I need to a little bit ponder more on that. I mean, thank you for helping out.
Thank you for that comment. Yeah, so how do you move on? Like this, being consistent, that's the practice you're doing. From the revelation and lights of belief on how can we understand that, okay, the enjoyment is not coming from the food, or let's say although the phone is advertised that it will solve many of your problems if you get this particular brand of phone, but it's not really the material phone that is satisfying whatever the needs or the pleasure I get from it, or the food is satisfying any of those. So what can it be? And that's the thing. Whoever made those qualities, whoever owns them, is making me taste those qualities, getting a sense of them. So I learn a little bit and appreciate those qualities and then connect them. That's the way to their real owner. But Sohail, go ahead.
Just a few more thoughts. Even not just taste, but it's always fascinating to me, like let's say seeing or hearing, which the Quran always references, because like those are probably some of the two most profound senses human beings have, in that just seeing something will elicit some emotion within me. Like, for example, seeing somebody I haven't seen in a long time, or seeing a parent or a friend or a child or something like that, or seeing some scenery out there, or the sun or the moon or stars or water, oceans, any of those things. I mean, they're all just material things arranged in a certain way. And it's not like I hold on to them physically, but I'm getting an image of them, and somehow they elicit some sort of emotional response or thought or feeling within me. It's strange when you think about it. Like, how was that possible? If I were just a material object, like, why do I have this reaction to other material objects by seeing it? The same thing can be said by hearing. Somebody says a kind word or harsh word, and maybe says even the same word, but in a different tone or a different way, in a different context. And it gives me two different emotional states or two different thoughts. Sound is just waves, just vibration of particles in the air at the end of the day. But somehow I have a reaction to that too. How is that possible? So there's no way to explain it within the material world. It's impossible. And that's just something we take for granted every day, because seeing and hearing generally for the vast majority of people is how they experience the world every day. But, take it for granted. I take it for granted because that's just how I'm used to. But when you step back and think about it, it's just, how is it actually happening? It doesn't add up or make sense, materially speaking, for this to be the case. Like, there's no way it should be happening this way if the world were simply a material thing.
Brother Lee, please go ahead.
Farihai's question was very practical, and we need to really discuss about it. I felt the need for it. Now, what we learn from the Quran is very reasonable, realistic, and I can really relate it to my practical life. La ilaha illallah, starting from myself. I am not the source of my existence. I am not the source of my human qualities, even of the source of existence of my body. But all these qualities manifested in my material side, displayed on my material side, all the qualities belong to whom? First, La ilaha. So let's talk about the fruit again that I am expecting for satisfaction when I eat it. Maybe loving how it looks beautiful, putting on the table, decorate as a decoration, and then eat it because they are beautiful. They are designed in such a nice way. Now, the material side, it cannot be the source of existence of their qualities. When I understand this, it's not difficult, because one of them is matter, the other one has another level of or reality of existence, completely different. But this is not difficult. But to submit to it starts from submitting myself, that I am not the owner of my body, my feelings, anything. So I have to acknowledge it, because I am given the free will. I have to use this free will. I cannot be carried away with my own feelings as if they are my master. No, they must be submitted to their creator, and the master of my feelings is the one who created them. Continue in the same way, the master of the qualities manifested on the display of matter is the one who gave existence to them. So very easy. Who creates the fruit that I want some satisfaction from? In its creation, we understand that it doesn't come into existence in an isolated way. It is completely related with the rest of the universe in general, the order of the universe, which is prevalent in the world. Within the order of the universe, it is coming into existence. So whoever the establisher of the order of the universe, the way it exists, who decided that must be the creator of this fruit. When I try to practice it, I have to bear in mind always La ilaha illallah. So while I am eating the fruit, let's say I'm eating a pear, now I have to say pear is not going to satisfy me, but the creator of the universe is satisfying me. And also the sense of need for satisfaction is also given to me by the same creator. So they must come and converge on the same point. The need for satisfaction is created by the one who created the beauty, taste in the pear. Communication, both of us directly related to the source of existence. So through my free will, I have to practice it. Choose this way, rather than seeing that the source of pleasure or taste is pear. When I eat pear, it disappears, and I find myself in how do you say this? What was the word? This dissatisfaction.
Turmoil.
No, despaired, maybe. Because it disappeared. As if my expectations fell down and I'm not getting the satisfaction. It contradicts me. I think that's the matter of free will, actually. But we should never forget that it will start from ourselves. How I see myself. That is why in prayers, we have to practice ourselves. Not say that, oh, the universe is created by God. No, 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 no. That is correct. But in the prayer, while we are doing ritualistic prayers, I have to concentrate on myself, who I am, must be practiced there. For example, going to ruku, what does it mean? I myself bow down before your greatness. Going to sujood, sajda, prostration, I practice what I really understood, that I am not significant. I am not significant. But I seek significance. And I want to be significant. How? By acknowledging that my creator is the significant, azim one, awesome one, and beyond the limitations of this universe. Practice this, practice. When we go to prostration, first of all, I am not prostrating before God. No, there is no before God there. I am prostrating so that I am expressing I have no significance of myself. No, I cannot claim anything. All the values, virtues I attach to myself are given to me. They don't belong to me. If I don't understand this, I cannot communicate with the Creator. Because if I see that what I am, not I am given existence, no, as I am, then even if I say God is the creator of the universe, or the universe must have a creator, doesn't really help me to communicate, to connect myself to him. So I have to pray in such a consciousness that I am standing before God, because I cannot stand before anything else. It means stand for salutation, if you like. It means I am devoting my life to the source of my existence. He must exist, although I cannot really perceive and comprehend his existence, essence of his existence, but at the same time, I know he exists. He must be the creator. But I shouldn't imagine that I am prostrating, I am standing before God. Where is God? Oh, it's imagination. No, I cannot imagine. I can realize my reality. I can express my reality. I can pray only to express La ilaha. That consciousness, if I pray in this way, with this consciousness, I can communicate with the rest of the universe alongside with this relationship. Rather than imagining a creator, but say that the universe is given existence by someone who must exist, and my duty is to accept that there is no creator in the universe. There is no source of existence of anything in this universe. They are all given to me by the one who created the universe. The one, or Nursi uses a one, there must be a one who created the universe. This a one is the one, everything must be attributed to him. I cannot imagine him, but my relationship is not based on, I'm repeating myself, based on imagining my ma'bud, the creator, based on realizing, putting into realization who I am. I need to be given existence. I need to be satisfied by, again, the one who created the need for it, for satisfaction. I need to use his work, his display, the universe, in order to communicate with the qualities manifested in on them. So introduce those qualities to my non-material expectations. It means spiritual side. This is belief relationship. But the matter, my body and the pair in the example, the universe actually, is just a displaying place. But my consciousness understands it, but my free will must decide and choose, or decide to choose, that I don't own myself, my feelings. That is the starting point of communicating with the creator, without which I don't, in my own experience, I couldn't find any other way of communicating. La ilaha is my part, illallah is the conclusion. And my free will must confirm this conclusion if I don't prefer to contradict myself, if I don't prefer to lie to myself, which is denial of reality. Very abstract subject, but inshallah, we can practice this. It is very sweet and very real. It saves me from living in an imaginary world, although I may believe in God, but imaginary world, not real. Thank you.
Thank you. This was beautiful, actually. So start with ourselves. I mean, the qualities we find in ourselves is not coming from our body, the material body. Of course, we can say that. So where are they coming from, all the qualities that we find in a human being?
I don't own my feelings.
Right, the feelings, I don't own them, so definitely they are given. My senses, my power of sight, hearing, although I'm using the eyes, but then the power of sight is something different from the physical, biological eye. Consciousness is not something from the matter of meat of brain. So the body is just the platform, is just the means, the tool, but yeah, who is So where is it all coming from? I have to go back to the owner. I mean, beautiful, inshallah, if we can live with this kind of understanding in our prayers as well. Something to think about, inshallah. All right, I think we can digest this for today and then continue next time with the continuation of this. There's a comment. So my feelings are given to find the source of existence of the feelings. Correct. Yeah. I mean, as we discussed. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Ali. Brother Ali, you were saying something?
Yeah, perfect, I said, mashallah. I agreed.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we can stop here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana. Innaka anta al-alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. بحمد سورة الفاتحة. Thank you.